Okay, hello, good evening, and welcome back to Learning Netrunner with Team Squared and System Update 21. I'm Mark, aka MCG, and I once shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. But who are these people, and what atrocities have they committed?
Hi, my name's Dave, and I stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Nailed it.
Nice, Dave. I'm Sharon, and I once made a coat of many colours.
What?
In which state is that a crime,
A
Sharon?
classic crime. In biblical times in the Middle East, everybody knew
Look,
you were
you
not
put us
allowed
on the
coats.
spot, Mark. You never let us know the questions you're going to ask beforehand. This is the best I can do.
I'm pretty sure that's the point, isn't it? But
For sure.
I shot the sheriff. Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
But did you shoot the deputy?
No comment.
Take the fifth.
Yep.
That's-
That was ridiculous.
Someone loves Dolly Parton. Thank you, Jessica.
Wait, Dolly?
Problems with the song.
I thought you were
Anyway.
referencing like the musical Jason and his Technicolor Dreamcoat, not Dolly.
No,
Right? Okay, sure,
it was Dolly Parton.
sure,
Wasn't it Joseph and his technical dreamcoat?
sure. Yep. Jason was Jason Donovan.
Jason's the actor.
Yep, the actor. Yep, classic. It's all going very well, isn't it? Very well. Okay.
Right. Should we talk about Netrunner then?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Netrunner? It's
Well-
pretty good.
I have. We've been playing it on Wednesdays for the last few weeks, but last week I wasn't here, so I had to trust you to your own devices, and well, from
Think
the
we
evidence
rose
of
to
the
the
stream,
challenge.
we can safely say that it happened.
It did.
So your homework for last week's stream was to build a runner deck that was a shaper and a corp deck which was either NBN or Jinteki.
Okay.
And you managed to achieve both those things. So I think we're going to take a look at some of those lists now, and you can tell us all about them.
Yeah, let's head over to Netrunner DB. Okay, where you can see my PE deck, my Jinteki PE deck. Although now, yeah, okay, Jessica. The reason my face went funny when Mark said Shaper is because this week I tried to build to the same rules, except I'd kind of forgotten most of the rules. And so I built a criminal deck instead. But I did build an NBN deck. But that's by the by, because that's next. But before that, this is my House of Knives deck. It's paper cuts, right? The idea is that every time you try and do something, you get an annoying either blockage. Just to stop you, or you take a bit of damage. The orbital superiority was just sort of kind of like a guff chancer, to be honest, because it's not exactly common for the player to end up with any tags. In fact, I think the only way to tag the player is snare, right? To tag the runner rather is snare in here. But I figured if they did end up tagged, that it would be great if I could orbital them for 4 damage. But everything here is like a little bit of annoying damage here, kind of a little bit of annoying damage there. Everything's meant to be like a touch of damage hither and thither. And so yeah, death by 1,000 cuts was the idea. How did it perform?
I think overall, it looks like a pretty reasonable deck.
Could you say that again?
Yeah, pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable.
Pretty reasonable. I'll take it.
I'm not sure why it's only got 45 cards in it when it could have 49, but...
Because who needs 49 cards? Oh, yeah, you're right. I could probably have fit like another snare in and another Urtica Cypher because they do damage.
More celebrity gifts to pay for it all.
More celebrity gifts to pay for it all. Also, the celebrity gift, I was just trying it out, and I did get to play it, and I mostly wanted to play it for shenanigans, like to mess with the runner by going, oh look, I'm showing you half of my hand, and it's all snares. Come at me, bro. And then put things down into the remotes and say, what is it? It could be a snare. So I only put it in for it did come out.
That is exactly what you do with celebrity gift. However, most people will do it by exposing the full 5 cards to get the full financial benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And if even one snare is usually enough to make people think twice. And if you've got 2 snares in there, even with an agenda, it will be enough to upset people.
Of course. Yeah.
The other thing that
yes,
I would suggest with this deck is that as you phrased it with House of Knives, you want to make it really annoying that do a bit of damage here, a bit of damage there. By putting 2-point agendas in, particularly orbital superiority, which you admit doesn't really fit, you've missed out more possibilities for your ID to trigger.
Of course, yeah.
So what is not unheard of in a Jinteki P deck would be to have 15, even 18 agendas, all as small as possible, meaning that the runner has to suffer 7 damage to pinch them all, and probably more than that with the ones that you managed to sneak out as well.
Yeah. So
you could have had things like, obviously another copy of House of Knives, maybe some superconducting hubs.
Yeah.
But
I probably should have put...
As I said at the start, overall, that's a pretty scary, solid, scary, horrible PE deck.
Yeah, I have a feeling that no matter what way you build this, they're all pretty rotten, because of their slow death kind of idea. But Sharon played against it with let me see if I can find the right deck. No, that's with basically sort of
pushing the code gates.
Perfect matchup, which was well annoying, because she played a deck with an awful lot of card draw in it. I seem to remember.
Yeah, well, you do need an awful lot of card draw when you've got an awful lot of cards in your deck.
For sure.
It wasn't that many over, Mark. It was not that many over.
What do you mean it's not that many? How do you quantify not that many?
That's what's 15% or so over?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Sure.
If you're pissed off at that, you're really going to be pissed off at the decks this week.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm joking.
My big takeaway from watching last week's stream is just what have I done to upset you and Dave so much through the years that I've known you? every Wednesday to try and have a nice, friendly stream where we talk about and play Netrunner, and yet all I hear in my absence is, "Oh, I've put this deck together to try and give Mark a heart attack. I wonder if we can get him to literally explode on stream." And I must have done some really nasty things that I just don't recall. Otherwise, I just don't understand.
I guess you must be talking about this deck that I played last week, which was themed around the Bo Burnham song "Welcome to the Internet."
I mean, that was part of it, but just the general demeanour outlook on life. We've got such different objectives for this stream. I'm trying to use it to entice more players into the game, and you're trying to eliminate the current player base. With,
Anarchy! That's it! Down with the old, in with the new!
We're engaging in extreme testing of the concepts.
Yeah, we're shaking up the meta, and by meta we mean player base.
Yeah, and by player base you mean me.
Yeah. There's a lot of shaking going on. Yeah, the less said about this attempt at a deck, the better, I think.
I think you might be proud about my runner deck this time, Mark.
Well, let's just go back to the runner from last week that we just had open, because
I did also have a problem in that I kept forgetting my ability.
That was perhaps the most painful piece of television or Witcher-vision that I've ever watched, in that everybody, particularly Jessica in the chat, was trying to remind you that you were playing Kit. And not only were you ignoring them, your ability to play Kit, you was somehow circumventing your own ability by just continuing to install as many egrets as possible.
I'm sorry. I was frustrated at myself at the end as well. It was terrible. Absolutely atrocious. And I wasn't even drinking.
The cherry on that particularly stale cake was after lining up 2 Karunas, or placing 2 egrets and 2 Karunas so that you could use Guardian Blade on them, even though you've been able to do that for the entire game. You then installed Atman with 4 counters on it for absolutely no reason.
That was my favourite.
In my head, it made sense. In my head, it made sense.
It was like, I've got 7 credits too many here. I'll just install this program that won't do anything.
It might have been a card with 4 strength. I don't know. I couldn't see all the Karunas at that point. I don't remember.
Good.
I want to move on.
If I remember rightly, wrong deck. If I remember rightly, in fact it was even worse than that. I think I only had maybe 1 or 2 pieces of ice that even had strength 4. Oh yeah, the Lotus Field. That's, I think, it. And Palisade if I install it remotely. But otherwise, yeah, it was only Lotus Field that was that strong. And I'm not sure I'd played it at that point either.
The only ice that we knew for sure was 2 copies of Karuna.
Sure.
So, it was one of the most baffling things I've ever seen.
It was brilliant.
It was really.
Now, in Sharon's
I should do
defense,
better this time.
We did play after the stream, and she did win with Kit by remembering Kit's ability, and it's incredible that it was basically only remembering the ability that turned it entirely around. But it was like cunning to watch, because once again the only flipping thing that came out on her board was 1 Gordian Blade, I think, and there was a couple of retrievals on Femme Fatale like misses where Sharon ran a retrieval run thinking she was going to draw from it, search her deck.
Yes,
for Femme
yeah,
Fatale.
that was so irritating on my part.
And despite misreading retrieval run, it was still a win. It was still a win because Gordian Blade just chopped everything like everything was a Gordian knot, I suppose. Yeah, it was very annoying, but very good. Yeah. Cool.
Sure. Well, I mean, apart from all those awful, terrible decisions that were made during the stream, and the fact that we've got 10 MU in a deck that needs about 5.
It's just in case, Mark. Just in case.
You've also got that unusual combination of professional contact and verbal plasticity. And as they are both click to draw effects, you can only use one at once, so they cancel each other out. Which is
you can't gain 2 cards off of professional contacts because it is not the basic action.
But professional contact was so useful.
It was. Yeah, you did get a lot of use out of it.
It was. It's a very good card, staple shaper card. But it's a non-bow, as we would call it, with verbal plasticity, because you don't want to be clicking them both.
Yeah, drawing. Jessica makes a good point. Diesel would be good in this kit deck, and I think Diesel would be good because it's draw 3 cards, right? So in a deck with 51 cards, any card that draws more cards is going to help.
Let's not dwell on this. Let's have a look at what your runner deck gave.
So the other, my runner deck was a Tau Salonga deck, and the idea here, which I'll be honest with you, I've tweaked the idea for this week, but I think I've gone sort of daft on it. Anyway, the idea here was to be able to control the ice in front of the central server that I wanted, and then once I'd controlled the ice, be able to just sort of slip through repeatedly as much as I liked on that server, without worrying too much about what was in front of it. And in the end, I think I got my Atmans out in such good order, and the rest of it, that I ended up not really even wanting to use Tau's ability.
Well,
yeah.
we'll talk about how that particular game went in a second. When we look at Sharon's list. But again, I don't hate this list.
Yeah.
This is obviously wrong number of cards.
Of course, yeah.
And there are too many programs.
There are.
Those are the 4 cuts I would make.
Yeah, I think the egret was kind of... I don't know, the egret was... In fact, the egret is entirely pointless. If we have a look here, my icebreakers are 3 AI, 1 AI, and 3 chameleons, which can break literally anything. If I was to make a change to this deck, it would be to get rid of the completely pointless egrets. I hadn't even noticed that. I think I changed my icebreaker suite after building this and took out some things because I thought, oh, I'll chuck an egret on and that way I'll be able to just slice through with one thing, and if I can't, then I'll move stuff around. And then I went sort of a different route with the icebreakers and left the egrets in. I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Well, you took those egrets and maybe the 3rd copy of Conduit.
Yeah.
You're actually down to 40 cards then.
Yeah.
Which was,
yeah,
pretty solid. I would personally, through personal preference, I would maybe look at a pantograph, maybe rather than one of the D400s or DZMZ, one way or the other. If you're just doing it for the so you can install a lot of different programs. You may as well have a
You're not wrong.
control effect as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
absolutely. Pantograph is good.
You've got some money, you've got some draw, you've got a bevy of programs.
Yes.
I think it can work. I think maybe you've got VRcations in there.
Yeah.
I would swap VRcations for diesels if I was only having one of them.
Oh, okay.
Because I find, whilst diesel only draws you 3 cards, the ability to play it at the start of your turn and then use those 3 cards.
Sure. Yeah.
Is a lot easier. But yeah, we've experienced a lot of VRcation, so we're familiar with it. So that's understandable.
And also, it's influence free because I'm a shaper. Whereas, isn't Diesel? Oh no!
The only flavour of Diesel you know thus far is also shaper.
Is also shaper. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Maybe I definitely should have gone for Diesel then instead. Cool.
That's something to think about, but yeah, that's
Yeah. So that was Tao. He was okay. I mean, he did the job.
Not like this.
Not like this. So yeah, I called him not like this because I thought it would be absolutely awful to face off against someone who just had a pay one destroy a subroutine on literally all of your ice. Like I figured that would be
He was really good actually.
Pretty cool.
I think.
Yeah, he did pretty well, I think. And you were playing. Oh my God, that's right. So I was focusing on one single server, right? That was Tao's kind
irritating.
Of jam. And then you played Near Earth Hub, go bananas all over the place, and it was a flipping nightmare to choose targets because you had so many remotes.
So Sharon, I saw you play this game in twice, and the second went a lot better than the first. Is there anything you kind of learned from playing it, or?
I think it was to be a little bit less fearful about putting my agendas out on unprotected servers.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that was... That's one way of playing it, sure. It's not what I thought you was going to say, but...
What did you think I was going to say?
Well, the first game, I can only assume, similar to Kit, that you forgot what Near Earth Hub did.
Yes, I did a little bit.
It was about turn 5 or 6 until you actually created a new server in which to draw a card and actually use the ability. Whereas typically when you're playing a Near Earth Hub deck, you would create at least 2, if not 3 servers every turn.
Oh, remember now, it's because I had an agenda-heavy hand, and I think it took a while to get ice and assets out.
Sure. Well, you've got to play the deck in the way it plays, because if you try and turtle up with a deck that's not designed to, then you'll quickly get found out. So yes, we had a slow start. We didn't install anything in that first game, and then you decided Dave had an aggressive start and managed to rip off about 4 points, I think, quite early. And then your response to that was, let's put more ice on R&D. Now you look at the ice list in front of you and you say, very little of that ice actually does anything.
Yeah, I know.
Toll booth is intended as the big roadblock, but you can only afford to res the toll booth once you've got your board state set up and you've got some money pouring in. So if you early doors, icing up 2 or 3 pieces of ice, it doesn't do anything really. Especially when Dave was so rich and had so many programs out.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I would have just put all those agendas out on new servers, hoping to confuse Dave, making him think it could be an asset or a trap. I think that's how I would have played that, because I absolutely did forget that every time I did put a new server out, that I drew another card. First time I did that.
Jess is absolutely right. 12 ice is quite a lot for a near Earth hub deck. The reason for that was basically running out of legal cards because we were only playing with System Gateway and System Update. We'd run out of, I think, legal assets, or maybe we could have put one more regolith in there, and then it was a case of should we have another predictive planogram or should we have some more ice? We try and put a few more pieces of ice in there. But then in the second game, it worked a lot more like it was anticipated to. Admittedly, you were playing Dave's Prime against Netrunner deck. But
that was fun.
That was good fun.
I still think you got really far with that deck, Dave.
Yeah, surprisingly so for both of us, I think. I spent so much of my resources and the game just butting my head up against how I dealt with one San City grid. That was nonsensical. I was poor as all hell. But it was at least good fun, which was cool. Yeah.
I don't know whether you saw in the YouTube comments, Dave, that the deck you put together was reminiscent of a former ID, which was called the Professor. And the Professor is rotated now, but his ability was that he only had one influence, but the first copy of each program you put in your deck counted as 0 influence.
Sure.
So you could have one copy of any program you wanted, basically, in the game.
Beautiful.
It would never go over influence.
He's only got like a couple of influence other than that, right? That's the downside. One, sure. One influence.
So you have to play the Shaper fundamentals, and then just go nuts with the programs and see how. And as we've spoke about before with high variance decks, the intention of him was to sort of play them as you drew them. Oh, these are the cards I've got this time. Can I make a ridiculous combination out of these cards that will be enough to get me through?
Yeah.
It wasn't very popular, unfortunately, so he's no longer with us. So.
That's a shame because it was kind of good fun.
It seemed like fun.
Yeah.
All right. What now?
Well, so that's enough. That's a lot about last week and how much neck strain I got from shaking my head.
Is that us or the England game?
Both. No, there was no head shaking on Wednesday. That went fine.
Oh, Wednesday, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now I'm excited, stroke terrified to see what you've cooked up for this evening's entertainment. So let's just get over to the play space and see what's happening.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Here we go then. First things first, Sharon, I'd like to apologise because both of these decks, I had like an idea on how they would work. However, I don't know whether I've achieved any of my goals when building these.
All right, let's see.
I'll let you pick first. There we go. Okay, cool.
I think so. This is the deck tweaked from last week, so I'll go for Corp first.
Interesting. Okay.
So you'll know a lot about what you know what to expect.
Sure.
does tweaked mean you've just put too many cards in?
No. Mark.
Sharon?
Would I do that?
Well, looking at the numbers at the screen, it says you've got 47 cards in deck plus 5 in hand. Which suggests, yes, you have indeed got too many cards in.
That's one more card than it was last time. Is this tweak you added one card?
No. I think it must have added 3 cards, unless it was sabotaged beforehand.
Sure. Oh, I thought it was 51 cards. Okay, sure. 3 more cards. Let's see.
Well, that means that this is a classic case of adding 2 more cards, and then, I've gone into the next agenda bracket. I'll have to add another agenda as well.
Maybe those things happened, Mark. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
We'll never know. Oh gosh. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay. Here we go. So, one of these.
Should have got some money, shouldn't I? God, bloody penny shaver.
Hell yeah. Speaking of pennies, last time you had, did you have some bunk in this deck as far as defense goes? You kind of did, didn't you? Let's see what you've got.
Forged activation orders.
Here. Either res that or lose it.
Which one?
The one in front of your HQ I should have chosen.
Is this a run?
Nope. This is an event. So the card cost me 1 cred, and it says choose 1 unres piece of ice. The corp may res that ice. If they do not, they trash it. Oh! Excellent.
So irritating, Dave.
Dodged a tag for a credit. That is
That's excellent. Really
solid.
excellent.
Solid. Right. Let's run. That is successful run on any server, isn't it? Not just central servers. Yep, cool. Access daily business show. I don't have the credits yet. Curses!
But now you do. Oh, but you've run out of clicks.
Yeah. Cool. You're up.
Well, I have quite a few of these, so let's pop you there. Oh.
Okay. Oh wow, sure. Well, we'll start with that. Then we.
All right, Mr. Moneybags.
We're going at this one, please. Oh, biscuits! Oh, bollocks.
No, but it's fine because Sharon's made a very strange decision in what she's done though.
I don't know what you mean. And I'm not bloody kicking myself for not getting another credit. Don't you worry, Mark.
No. I mean, putting ice on archives was the important thing, not making sure you had 4 credits.
Oh.
I know that now, Mark. I know that now.
Oh, I missed the 4 credit pay wall on that card.
Oh, no, I feel so irritated.
I don't want to labour it too much, but you would have just won.
I know that, Mark. I know that. I forgot I had to pay 4 credits to activate snare.
Perfect. I am a genius at this game. I'm an incredible player. Positive affirmations. I didn't just get away with it by the skin of my teeth. Yeah, that was lucky. Pure luck. Absolutely pure luck. Wait. No, putting something in front of your archives didn't cost you something, did it? Oh god, that did though.
I did the wrong thing though.
That's it?
Can I undo that?
It's time to drink. Right, okay, let me go get my drink.
Wait, when I do the wrong thing, do you both drink?
Oh, I mean,
I feel
everybody
like
should
that's
drink.
fair.
Because, yeah.
Right. Now he's gone away, Mark. Oh, I'm kind of like stuck on what to do.
So you have no need to draw that card.
Well, I know that now.
Because if you install that card now, you'll draw another card, and you're gonna definitely end up over your hand limit.
Why don't you tell all the viewers at home what cards you've got in your hand?
What? That wasn't intended.
What?
I literally just said that, Sharon. Those were literally what I just said.
This is what I was trying to do.
It still creates a new server. It still fires your ability.
This is ridiculous!
The only way you could not do that is if you either installed a piece of ice on a server you already on server 1, or
To do that,
just
that's
throw it all
rubbish.
away. It is rubbish, yes, but
Okay. What have I come back to? Wait, is that a second undo click?
Dave, shh. Oh, fudging heck.
What? Oh, yeah, of course, you've installed ice on an empty server in order to use your ability.
I don't want more cards.
Right. Oh yeah, you have 7. Yeah, that would be. Mhm.
what is happening?
Create a new server.
Uh,
I thought that was obvious.
You've run out of clicks. It's cheaper for me to get rid of it next turn. I mean, yeah, is 1 click worth 6 credits? Obviously. So yeah, it's cheap.
But I'm lost for words.
Was there something terrible that Sharon could have done with a
No,
tag on
I
me
just-
early, or?
I just made stupid choices. That's all.
Okay.
What we're into now is what's called the doubling down spiral, where one bad decision creates a second bad decision, creates a third bad decision, so you end up where you spend all your credits to achieve nothing on your last click.
I am going to get a drink.
And I'm going to access server 1. Oh yeah. This is another snare, isn't it? This is
Right,
It is.
what are you doing? You're going to server 1 again.
Mm-hmm. However, I'm perfectly safe from a second snare. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh.
I'm alright with that. I think I've drawn too many cards already.
Huh.
Oh gosh, that was quickly. You drew a card. You drew another card. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You messed around with Penny Shaver, and then you trashed Daily Business Show. Oh, alright.
Yeah.
Oh, and you removed a tag. Hello, Left Cut.
I love you're missing one of the. Well, we're missing. You're missing nothing really.
What?
You're missing good solid play from Dave. Whereas Sharon's having a breakdown live on stream.
Sharon's not doing that bad so far.
I really am, Dave. I really am.
Admittedly, bouncing around with 0 creds, and yeah, and the amount of cards that you've chucked in archive so far and the misses. Yeah, I suppose, but oh my. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess this then, and
I mean,
then
that's not a bad shout,
yeah.
but you don't have a barrier, so do you need to get a barrier out first?
Barrier icebreaker. No, I don't.
Oh,
I'm going to use Botulus to break the
hang on. I didn't know you could do that.
yeah.
That's very interesting for me when I play as runner.
Botulus is use one hosted virus counter off of it and break one subroutine on the host ice.
Yeah.
Wait, how do I flip and use this? There we go. I was just missing it somehow. There we are. Cool. And then
that is very useful. I might make a few quick changes to my other deck. No, I'll leave it. It should be fine.
Access the server. Yes, Steve Cambridge, if that is your real name. I would like you to choose one of these cards to go back in my hand, please.
Nice.
Oh, thanks. Interesting. A hedge fund.
Yes, and you'll see it very shortly.
Then I will proceed to do this. And there you go.
Where are we? Credit, hedge fund.
Oh, that was goofy. Yeah, okay, sure. Sure, hedge fund. Cool.
Now I have some monies.
Absolutely shouldn't be using basic action gain 1 credit. If I've got anything.
Well, you should have a sure gamble.
Well, if I've got anything on Penny Shaver,
you should take it. Yeah.
Yeah, Penny Shaver is more cost effective than me using a basic action to gain a credit.
Absolutely. Right, now let's see. Wrong one. Don't look, Dave.
Oh, sorry. That's okay.
I mean, you can. Oh, I should have probably put something out in front of HQ, shouldn't I? Ah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, is it my go?
Yeah.
So it's just reporting
You
these
definitely
bots.
should have, when it's considering you're playing Steve Cambridge, who wants to run HQ.
I mean, it's done now, isn't
God,
it?
is there another undo click? Okay, yeah.
No, there isn't. I finished my go.
Okay. Right. Okay. Let's have a look.
We'll get there, Tenacious, if this play carries on.
I feel like it's a vicious circle. The more we drink, the more we're likely to need to undo a click.
Well, it's vicious sobriety at the start of it, so I don't...
What makes you think I haven't been drinking from 5 o'clock on the dot, Mark?
Well, okay, maybe. That would explain a lot.
Right, let's break end the run. Let's pass ice and continue. Let's access the server and let's Stephen Cambridge!
Stephen Cambridge!
Turn on this one, please. Both economy cards.
Which to remove?
Oh, yeah! license acquisition. Cool.
I know, that's so irritating.
Especially because you've got a chunk of stuff in archives right now, so I don't know what some of it is, but it could have been pretty cool. Also,
well, no, it's more because I just wanted to score an agenda.
Sure.
Should have put it out. I shouldn't have been so fearful, Dave. I should have put it out.
Mark, I'm sorry. Okay.
You've only got 1 click left.
I know, and
Why would you do
if I used it to do anything other than this, I don't get to do this.
You don't get to end your turn. Ah, discarding femme fatale. Lovely.
I don't think that was the best play. I think that was kind of goofy. I think I missed the opportunity to do 2 much better things there. Perhaps, or 1 much better thing, which was just
one of the other things that was mentioned in last week's stream was about knowing when to res cards. So you
Come on, Mark. How much do you want me to remember in one go?
Well, just the basics of Netrunner, that's all.
Bazinga!
How about that? Fine.
Okay.
Res cards, res cards, res cards. But are they useful? Don't think so.
You're right, cards are a crutch. You should really them away. Let's get the dice out and let's play Star Wars Destiny instead.
Go on, Dave. Go on. Make it like speed chess, so we have an excuse for messing up.
Very well. Speed chess it is. You're up.
Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to res a card.
Another Marilyn campaign. Now, when Marilyn says when this asset would be trashed, you may shuffle it into R&D, does it mean only automatically, or does it mean if I choose to pay to have it trashed, does it go back into R&D?
If you pay to trash it, it also goes back into R&D. But
what a load of
the text on it is only active when it's rezzed. So because you trashed that last one before it was rezzed, it went directly to archive.
Gotcha. So much pain, because that was what Mark was alluding to when he was talking about resin cards at the right time.
Ah, okay. Okay, so your best opportunity is absolutely goon it at the unresed servers. Sure. Oh, okay.
Oh. What do I want to do with you? Let's pop you there. Oh. Oh, never mind. Oh, I have a click left. Got a lot of money, haven't you? Tell you what.
It's a veritable money party over here. I don't know why I'm drinking. You haven't undone a click yet.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad move. But...
Oh. I don't know. Can you see the cards I've got in my hand, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I've made some really good moves.
I was questioning why you iced the Marilyn campaign.
Why I iced it?
very long-term planning.
Well, I didn't want Dave to trash it.
I'm not sure it matters if I trash it. Once you take that first 2, then it's free, right? And it heads back into R&D instead of archives, which is pretty good. I don't know. Is Maryland campaign that scary to lose? I suppose.
I mean, it depends on the when and the where. If Karen had no credits and you were piling the pressure on her, you wouldn't want to lose it at all. You'd want to get all those 8 ticking in.
Yeah.
If you're doing okay though, and you've got some credits and there's an inconvenience cost to you having to spend a click and run and trash it, it's sometimes not a bad trade-off.
Snare and 1 unseen card, eh?
I forgot you could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, it tells me in the chat log which 2 cards you chose. It also doesn't help that I was exactly looking at archives whilst you were choosing, and then clicked on it again immediately after you chose, because I'd forgotten the chat log would log it. But yeah, server 8. Cock.
You can also res a card before they access the server. Oh, blast! So I could have resed Marilyn campaign before he accessed it.
You can, and that in that way that it will then be shuffled back in for you. But it will cost you 2 credits to do that, and you don't gain those 2 back immediately. So it's something of a trade-off.
I'm making a run on archives. Force the runner to lose a click, and yeah, cool. Thank you very much. Go for it. Fire 'em. Fire 'em. There we go. That's the end of my turn. Cool. Okay.
What I got going on here then?
Well,
yeah. PK mentions you can res a card before server access as well, which is good for spin doctoring, like a boss, for protecting him in shenanigans. But it's also for Jinteki.net. It's also kind of like, I've noticed there's a few different things, like Anoetic Void, which you probably didn't want to just install resed.
It just did it without me.
Really?
You installed that for free using license acquisition.
It's
so
for
all
free?
The cards you could have installed for free.
I thought I had
one that is free to res.
Can I change my mind?
Ignoring all costs is, yeah, the important part.
I would like to change. Can I undo that?
I'm going to need
to
more
accept
drink.
that Dave knows.
I've got to go back to the kitchen to get more drink. I ran out. This.
Look, scored. Okay, selecting a thing. Let's do that one. That's what I want. Is that fair, Mark?
It's slightly better, but...
And I've just realised something else I could have done.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, could have used that. What else have I got?
One asset or upgrade.
I should have done the Sand City grids, shouldn't I?
If only there was an upgrade that would have cost you 6 credits to res that you could have.
I feel like I have taken too many undo clicks anyway.
Let's pop that out just in case. Let's run this server 6. Let's run at this snare here. Oh! Oh! Yep. And then...
You were probably as surprised to see it unresed as I was.
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I clearly need to play with this deck a bit more. Oh. Oh, yes, please.
Back into R&D it goes. Good night, sweet Maryland campaign.
Indeed.
See you again in 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Run a central server you haven't run. That's only going to cost 3, but it's an Enigma. Run archives. Okay. Cool. 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 Ah, okay. That is good cash. Right. Let's see. Okay. So, this might end up seeming a bit goofy.
Go on, what are you going to do, Dave?
We're going to run...
Inside job. First time you encounter a piece of ice, bypass it. Nice.
We're going to run R&D, I think. Oh, no. Fuck it. Here we go. We're going to run your new server 5.
I mean, there's no point me resing it, is there?
Not really.
Okay.
Unless it's a card that has a bypass ability, which it does not in this case.
Yeah! Send a message! Quality! Yes. Okay. Then... Oh boy. Then we are going to do...
Where's all your... Where are all your icebreakers, Dave?
Tuna, I don't know. Who needs icebreakers, Sharon? Turns out I need icebreakers. Like I was reasonably confident that I'd be slicing my way through here like an absolute master, making a bunch of hilarious decisions. But instead, let's make a run on archives like so. Continue to approach server. Continue to encounter ice. Oh, dang it, I should have done that next turn. I knew it was going to cost that. It doesn't cost enough. Sharon, could you put a bigger piece of ice? No, I just wish your ice cost more in front of archives there.
Why?
Because you would have
I
to
see.
pay for it courtesy of Trank. Interesting.
3.
Wow, I wonder if that's an anoetic void. What? You undid the click!
Frank!
Cheers. Wow, I wonder if that's an anoetic void. Right, okay. Start the turn. Let's have a little draw. What do we got? Resource.
Well, I've run out of wine now.
I mean, that does make that cheap, doesn't it? Makes it super cheap. But let's just flippin' run server 9.
Can I res it? I mean, there's no point really, is there?
You're right on both fronts. You can res it, but there isn't any point to that.
Okay. Oh, reverse the counts. No, thank you. Let's run server 10.
I'm okay with that.
Sure. Pad campaign. Let's pay for to trash. Then we're gonna stick that over there and end the turn. Oh. Okay. Oh, hello. Sure. Sure. Okay. So I'm going to run, but I'm going to run using this.
And that is all right.
Dirty
cool.
laundry. I'm going to run.
That's okay.
Total. That's 3 total. It's a run event. I probably should have just red teamed that. Then I'm going to encounter the ice. Let those unfired thingies, and then I'm going to. No, I don't want to jack out. And then I'm going to pass ice and continue, please. Access the server. Oh, burn! Oh, burn! I was successful, so I got my 5 credits back.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but kind of also not cool. I'm going to draw, and I'm going to...
I'm curious now about what's going to pop out.
There you go. Cool. You're on.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. Oh, wow. Once again, Insta scored Project Beale. Let's do the smartware. Tranquilizer. And then I get the double what's it. Sure. That one, please.
Fair enough.
All of that, please.
All right, yeah.
I got 2 clicks left. So let's. Which way round do I want to do this? Access HQ or access archives for the lols. No, let's.
I think you should access archives for the lols.
Yeah. But do I want? And by the lols,
Welcome back, Jess.
I mean good cash.
Joined us at Dave confusing himself and Sharon confusing everyone else.
I have not been playing very well.
Oh, that's right. Bugger it. Do you mind if I undo that click?
I do not.
Drink.
I think I've got some in the bank. I'll be honest with you. Right. First things first. That was the order. Then
Smartware distribution.
Yeah. Then it was absolutely this. Continue to approach. No res. Continue to approach. There's a res. Let everything fire. I get fired on. Then I end my turn. Cool. Regolith money. Okay. Oh. Right. 1 smartware. 2 smartware.
Oh, I forgot something I
goes
could have
up.
done.
Botulus goes up. Earthrise gives me cool stuff. Going to, right, sure.
Program?
Okay, so
Yes.
instead what I'm going to do is fly straight down onto archives. Continue to approach ice. Are you going to res it?
Got 7 credits.
Oh. Is it showing 2 cards there because I accidentally moved it, or is it because I'm making a sneak door run?
The latter. They just happen to be very much aligned as on this zoom and this angle.
I gotcha. Cool. And then what I'm going to do...
Going to do the same thing?
No, I mean it would be pointless. I've got no way to get past that enigma other than to let it sleep and let you run out of money. Which sounds mean, but is also flipping hilarious. Right, let's just go straight R&D. Budabadoo. Continue to
Alright.
ice.
I mean, it's you could actually win, to be fair.
Or Sharon, and I want to make this absolutely clear, I could access a snare.
Yeah, that's true. You could lose as well.
Oh, wait, I didn't mean to jack out. Ah, dang
Okay,
it.
undo! Drink,
right,
drink!
That was a case of misreading. Sorry.
Dave, when you do that, do you not want to use red team?
I did. I was red team running.
Oh, right, okay.
That was how come it shows the little red team access like this, which is pretty cool. Let unbroken pass ice and continue. Jack out. No. Let unbroken. Oh no. Well, okay, sure, cool.
Nice. Price to pay for a red team run.
Yeah, let's not have that in the game. Thanks. Cool. And then, right, I've got no cards in hand. I've got no cards.
Snow is still in the deck, Jess. The snow was found earlier and has been shuffled back in by a spin doctor.
Yeah, we went back into Snare Danger Town earlier. I'm going to invest. There we go. Yeah. It was a risk. It was a risk. Tell you what, this Earthrise Hotel has been proper good for allowing me to just unnecessarily run stuff. Dang, another Beal!
Oh, yeah.
Wow, you're really averse to just leaving counters on there because, I mean... Yeah. Averse to leaving counters on there. I suppose there is a chance that if you left counters on there, I could still access it if I get an inside job. Like,
yeah.
Which would be pretty funny, but yeah. Authorized Hotel. That please. Then oof. Oh, the rest of them all. Wow. So the rest of them all go off naturally. It's just the Earthrise Hotel that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's a spend. Okay, sure. Let's draw. Let's put an Earthrise Hotel down. Draw again. Cash up. End the turn. You'll go. Oh, rats. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay, you're 5 agenda points, which puts you pretty much 1 score away from the win. I'm 4, which means if I end up stealing a flipping license acquisition, of which I assume there's 1 more, I will be I'll be moulding hard. Another spin doctor, eh? Let's see what heads back into the deck. One would assume that your archives has had previously a agenda in it face down, but doesn't now.
How many sands did I have?
How many sands? You had 3, didn't you?
I did.
You've got 1 in archives at least. So I don't know if you've got any others. That's server 5 is an anoetic void. It's got to be. You had that in your hand for too long. Ha! Right, so server 12, who knows what could be there. Server 13, no longer drawing extra cards from just installing random... Okay, I would imagine if you were doing an agenda, you would have installed it on server 5, which means that server 12 and server 13 are either snares, a snare, the snare, rather, sorry, or a resource of some sort, like an asset. So I reckon it's a risky option. Right. Otherwise hotel please first, and then the rest of them sort themselves out. I'll do this. Oh shit. Okay. This is expensive, isn't it? You've got 5 credits left, right? 5 credits. 5 credits. Okay. Sorry. Right. So, here's my thinking. I've got to work out which way round I want to do this. There is a medium chance that your servers, your external servers, have a snare or some crazy undefended agenda just for the lols.
Yep.
But I think that's,
like we said, I'm trying to encourage myself to do that.
Yep. But that's ridiculous, because you would definitely put the server on the anoetic void, because you could just about afford to pay for my run to end. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to... Oh my god, am I really? Can I... That costs 3, 12, 9. 9 would be a lot of dosh. 9. Or alternatively... Right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay the iron price to target this. Then I'm going in. Run on archives. Continue to approach ice. I'm making a sneak door charge.
Said you can just crack on.
Thank you very much. I continue to approach the server. I access the server. I actually access HQ, which means I can use Steve Cambridge's power to get back that one or that one, your choice.
Might as well have a sure gamble.
Sure. I accessed that old toot. No thank you. Right, then I'm going to penny shaver for credits and end my turn. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Is this it? Is this it?
Can I undo? I was meant to res something.
Yeah, go for it. I used a penny shaver, didn't I? There we go.
Yeah.
Now I end my turn, and it's
Whew.
now your res step.
There we go.
There we go. Yup, and the other one's a snare. Cool. Cool.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
It has to be. You would have resed it otherwise, unless it was your third spin doctor. In which case you probably wouldn't want the 2 cards. No, you definitely would. like you'd want to be sifting R&D for another agenda as fast as you can. Also, Jess, 11 credits of programs to deal with one enigma, but it has dealt with it. So
conclusive work.
Yep, absolute worth, right? Sure.
We go.
Sure. 7 credits. Okay, let's go for Earthrise Hotel first. Then I'm gonna use her. Then I will. Yeah, I've got enough. Let's flippin' go. Could be anything. Could be anything in here.
Do I want to do that? I mean, I guess it would cause you to have to use credits.
Mm-hmm.
Is 2 credits worth it?
2 It's a roto turret, which is a sentry.
Because, to my shame, I wasn't paying attention and I didn't remember that Femme Fatale breaks sentries.
Fully break rotor turret. Continue to approach. Access the server. Retrieval run. Femme Fatale.
Oh, very nice. I mean, to be honest, it's not a very strong card. So...
Come on, that's daft. I already had a Femme Fatale that already did that. I've chosen poorly there. I got excited by the Femme Fatale. Yeah, Jessica, I have made a mistake. I've used the Femme Fatale on something that a Femme Fatale can get through anyway. I should have put it on the Karuna, but you know what? At least now I know that if I come up against it, I've got 2 different ways of dealing with it. Yeah, you know, because we're done with undo clicks now. Undo clicks are out of the option.
Oh, really?
Yeah, undo clicks are absolutely donezo. That's the way it goes. Sure.
We have seen some unusual plays during these last 2 series of Burning Netrunner, but that one is the most surprising play that anyone has ever seen in the history of Netrunner.
It is funny you say that, because that was reasonably unique. Right, Steve Cambridge. Let's go, Steve. Okay.
Go.
We're going to...
Finally.
I do have a plan if I make it to the next round.
We're going to choose this one, and we're going to choose this one. Which one do you want to get rid of?
Right. Ooh. Get rid of Inside Job.
Yeah, sure. No action. Bugger. Okay.
But you did make a successful run, didn't you?
Yep. Can I have my tag now, please? Thank you.
I have to think about what I'm about to do.
Sure. Okay, the turn has started. Mandatory card draw has occurred. The thinking, I assume, has stopped. Here comes the money. Money, money, money. 9 credits off of the back of hedge fund, which is 4 credits on aggregate. Next up.
Just that.
Next up. Yeah, Karuna saves 2 credits each time. It would have been Poikus. Or I could have put it on server 5, the defended server, run into the noetic, and then either forced credit spend or trashed the noetic if credit spend didn't happen because it was a quote-unquote empty server, because you'd have to...
There we go.
Literally any other legal play would have been better than what you did.
Correct.
Don't worry, Dave. I've had many of those myself.
Any other legal play, you say?
You bypass a card for 2 credits that you could have broke with the same program for 2 credits. You've installed a femme fatale to achieve nothing.
It cost me 3 to install that femme fatale
I
as
know,
well.
and they are good, aren't they?
Yep, to do that run was 3's worth. So, right. Okay. One can assume that if I run server 5 straight up, I'm in trouble. So let's start by finding out exactly how much trouble. Res it or lose it. Oh, that was woefully cheap. Sure, so it's clicks to get through that. 2 clicks to get through that. Gosh. I think if you can score that next turn, I think you've got this, which is annoying. Oh, it cost me 2 to get 1 out of it, or I would get 1 if I made a run there, 1, or I could use that click to put 1 on Smartware Distributor and get it next turn anyway. Okay, or bear with me here. First time you breach HQ, access 1 additional card. Let's have a gambit. You're not resing that? You don't want to res that?
Nah.
Okay. Use Steve Cambridge's ability to get me back either or Kaka. I think... Bugger it. That'll get me through 1 on something, which isn't enough. Let's see.
I honestly think that Mark is really disappointed in both of us.
He should be. Right, no action. Where's my second card? No action! No! Your hand is full of poo-poo!
You've got 1 more click, Dave.
I have. It's...
One way we could describe Dave's deck is niche.
Niche.
It's interesting, but
it's pretty niche. I think I've misplayed it slightly.
If it makes you feel better, Dave, I have probably
turret.
misplayed every single turn.
And yet still won. Oh, I've got the discard trigger, haven't I? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's get rid of this one. Why not? Ah, bugger. Okay. Oh, well done.
Thank you. Thanks.
Very well played.
I mean, well, it really wasn't, but good game.
Good game, well played. Would you like to see my deck list before we carry on?
Yes, and you can see mine as well.
You ready? This is my deck list. It's called All You Need is Femme Fatale. Because I think all you need is Femme Fatale. It only has 3 Femme Fatales. and it has a bunch
like...
of Botulus and Tranks, right? And a bunch of retrieval runs to afford my femme fatales. We'll probably get onto it in the section where we go into our what differences, what mistakes we made with our decks. But that was All You Need Is Femme Fatale, which worked a lot better than I expected it to be honest. So, well played.
The savage and surprising installation of ice on archives so early on was
shocking.
Obviously, a big drawback.
Shocking, right?
Part was because he's got Steve Cambridge. I had 3 agendas in my HQ. Sure.
Yeah, that does track, I suppose. Yeah. Right. My next one.
Are we doing this?
Yeah. My next one. I should also apologise to everyone for this for the next deck, because so.
Oh, Dave,
I'll explain it later. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me try doing that again. There you go.
Mark, I will fully accept I played abominably in that game, and I should know better. Dave, I absolutely should have put that Sand City grid in instead of whatever muppetry I did.
Yep. But then I also messed up when I just doubled down, which was absolutely not the point of putting those femme fatales in. The femme fatales were meant to make it cheap as chips to get past one cool bit.
Are you able to view your?
Wait, have I chosen incorrect? Hang on. This is what? How am I the runner? I'm meant to be the corp. Oh, you're the runner.
I'm the runner. I'm the runner.
Ah, okay. I was like, why is this down here? What is going on? Am I not? I'm NBN. Yep. Okay. Cool.
Mark, is there something I should be doing with the cards in the play area?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got. Look at your ability on Ayla. On Ayla.
Before drawing, set aside top 6 cards. Look at the cards. Add 1 card set aside with this identity to... Okay.
Shuffle 2 of those cards into your stack. The game is probably saying, what 2 cards do you want to shuffle into your stack? Which is another way of saying, what 4 cards would you like to sort of keep as optional cards for you to just click and forcibly... Yeah. Don't put money cards under Ayla. Oh, interesting. Cool.
Really?
Yeah, guaranteed cash sounds cool, but you probably want, like, something to deal with things, like increase the flexibility in your deck, right?
Let's rephrase that. Assuming you've built a sensible Ayla deck, you don't want to put money and draw cards under Ayla because you would expect to be able to draw them anyway. What you want is the 1 or 2 bits of spice that you've got in your deck so that you can try and pull them out as and when you need them. However, if you've only put 1 Sure Gamble in your deck as your only econ card, then that would be a sensible thing to put under Ayla to start with.
Yeah. Now, on the Jinteki format, am I meant to be choosing the 4 cards I want to keep in my sort of separate pile to the side, or the 2 cards I want to return?
You choose 2 cards, so...
What does the prompt say?
I don't have a prompt.
Choose just cards to be hosted. It says for mine, waiting for runner to choose cards to be hosted.
Right, okay, so select 4 cards.
Is that what it says? Select 4 cards. Yeah, in that case, it's you've got 6 cards. You can maths it and say, right, 2 of the cards are going back in your stack, so 4 cards are going underneath it. If it was 3, that would make it a lot more awkward. Okay. Let's have a look. No, Mulligan, thank you. And it was basically the same flipping hand. Cool.
Irritating.
Yep.
I'm going to get a quick drink because I know I will be undoing clicks.
Okay. Hey, funny story. That's basically free. That's free real estate.
I don't want to give too much away, Dave, seeing as Sharon can still hear us.
Yeah.
Your assessment of your mulliganed hand was very
quick.
Miserable.
Miserable is that?
Well, miserable.
I'm
basically
back.
The same was a very loose interpretation.
First time, each time you play a copy of subliminal messaging, gain a click.
Yep. I probably should have kept that first hand. This is pretty rubbish. I've got 3 clicks left.
You've gained a credit and a click. So you've gained a credit for nothing, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Right.
That is what subliminal messaging does.
Lovely.
If you don't make a run during your turn, your opponent gets a click for nothing. A credit for nothing.
Okay. Now, at the end of my turn, do these 4 cards off to the right here just go away?
No.
They stay there
forever.
Time for shenanigans, PK.
Do they get replenished?
Nope.
Oh, bugger.
They are Ayla's ability. So Ayla's ability is that those 4 cards are available to you to bring into the game at any time as you see fit. Will cost you a click to bring one of those into your HQ.
Okay.
That's what Ayla's ability is.
So when Mark told us about Ayla, I think one of the first things he said was, this isn't a popular ID because her ability's sort of bum. And it's not total bum, but it is a bit bum. It doesn't seem as aggressive as the others. It's sort of okay sifting, because you'd spend a click to draw anyway, so drawing a guaranteed one of these cards is kind of cool. And then a click to play the card.
To get value out of Ayla, you've got to build around her. Your deck has got to have a reason to have cards on the sideboard. So obviously that's quite constricting from a deck building perspective. If you've just built regular Shaper, as we would call it, then basically any other ID would be better.
How do I use a click to get a card from that grid, from that separate stack? And do I get to choose which card I pull out?
How? I don't know. I've never played Ayla on Techie. Maybe click her.
That's
yes,
it.
You very much do get to choose.
I'll do that and then do that. And end my turn. Let's try to build up a bit of money.
Okay. Cool. Let's go. Start turn.
From Jess's comment, does that mean that there were cards that used to be really good for Ayla that have been taken out of play?
Well, Ayla, as you remember from a few weeks back when we went through the Shaper cards, Ayla was the runner that came in Terminal Directive.
Free.
The narrative expansion that was a good idea that didn't work out very well. So a lot of the cards that originally were intended for Ayla are just not in the game anymore. All that box was rotated out. Now, there are other cards that help her ability, as Jess says, Hyperdriver, and that is also rotated out. So you're talking quite niche applications now of when it would make sense to play Ayla. So, but Ayla did do well in a recent tournament because I think someone put together a bit of a combo deck. I think it might have been Contaminate plus Conduit.
Yeah.
And therefore, even that isn't great for Ayla, but they did well with it in a tournament, so prove that it can be done. So.
Right. Okay. Now, Dave's just willfully creating new servers.
Yes.
But he doesn't have a near-Earth hub?
No,
he doesn't. It's Reality Plus.
Yeah, I got Reality Plus, which means the first time each turn the runner takes a tag, gain 2 credits or draw 2 cards. Every time they take a tag.
I'm going to guess that those servers are probably traps. Or you have ice that gives me tags or events that give me tags. Which sucks. I guess I'm going to have to deal with it. What else is there to do?
Cool.
Okay. But you've left your HQ totally clear. Should I fall for it?
I've got a single piece of ice in front of my HQ.
Sorry, not your HQ, your R&D.
Oh shit, yeah.
Ow.
I would say at this stage, Sharon, you've got ample opportunity to check what is in R&D and still spend your other clicks getting set up.
True. Pop you out. Run R&D.
No further actions.
Oh.
Parisia. It's been hosted to trash. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now Parisia is particularly good if I'm like flying out sideways, because it's going to save you a bunch of dosh. That's pretty cool. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was so thrilled to see that one, Dave.
Let's flippin' go.
Seamless launch. Dave, do you have bloody clearing houses?
There's stuff. There is stuff and things all over the place with this. End the turn. Okay. Right, bear with me. I just gotta use the lavatory. Good luck with your turn.
Should I go? Should I wait until he's back? Let's go.
Go, go!
Go! Right, what to do? Well, I know I kind of... I'm going to... Maybe this is using Parisia far too much. But... I think Dave must have... I might not have. Dave had a tithe. Mark, what kind of ice is a tithe?
Sentry.
Is a what?
It's a sentry.
It's a sentry.
Sentry.
Okay.
I want that one or that one. I can only use Ayla once, can't I?
No, we can use them.
No.
You can bring both of them into your hand individually.
Every click in a turn could be an Ayla click if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good. But do I want it to be?
I definitely think that after your next Ayla click, you should consider clicking Ayla again a couple of times. Just putting that
I'm
out there.
afraid that would be an illegal click, Dave, because it would not change the game state.
What? How is that illegal?
Welcome to Netrunner.
Wasting your own clicks sounds... I've got action before access. I'd like to
Let's have...
I'd like to remove this from the game.
Aww.
I'd like to shuffle that one and...
Oh, are you allowed to res and then take before someone accesses it?
Yeah, I've got a paid ability window before access.
That is exactly how you should use Spin Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's
now
very
I've
good.
got 6 cards in my 5-card hand.
Very clever. Okay,
there used to be a card called Estelle Moon, which was completely and unbelievably bonkersly broken. And Estelle Moon said every time you installed a card, I think it was, or read the card, no, it must have installed a card, put a power counter on Estelle Moon, and then when you trash Estelle Moon, draw a card and gain 2 credits of each power counter on her. Now that in itself is an incredibly strong ability, but everyone assumes when they first read it that it must say, click, trash Estelle Moon, get all that benefit. Oh no, that was a trash ability.
That's clickless.
So, you put it behind a piece of ice, you did all the shenanigans you wanted to get 1 billion tokens on her, and then, when someone came to trash her, you fired her off.
Wouldn't you protect that? Why wouldn't you protect that, Dave?
Why wouldn't I protect that?
Please keep your emphasis in sentences all in the same place.
Why wouldn't I protect that? Why wouldn't I protect that?
Why wouldn't you protect it? You out.
Oh, cool, a pantograph. Okay, so more memory than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah.
One program, but your program, admittedly, is just giving you hosted credits for trash costs. So it's not even an icebreaker or anything. It's just a lol. Look at my stuff kind of
Indeed.
program, which is kind of cool. I suppose having all of those memory increases is pretty good. Sure. Action before access. Oops.
Did you do something wrong?
No.
Did you want to act?
No, I am acting. I'm acting right now.
Subliminal messaging.
Well, you're accessing it anyway. I might as well, give that the not spend the dosh on that. You've got 2 credits. Yes.
Can I access you?
Yeah, of course you can. I've got no further actions. Go for it. Look at that.
Ah.
It's an amazing amusement.
Hang on. If I wanted to trash you, why can't I use Parisia?
Oh, wait, you can use Parisia. Yeah, you could use Parisia.
Oh, read Parisia again.
Is it event? Wait.
Assets. Oh, it's not an asset. It's an upgrade. Oh.
Ah.
Oh, no.
Welcome to Parisia. Welcome to the same mistake that every Netrunner player has made at some point.
I certainly did make that mistake. God damn it, Parisia. Pointless. Why did I keep you in my blasted Ayla pack?
That's why Parisia and Scrubber are different cards.
Have we got access to Scrubber yet? I thought that was a...
No, we have access to Scrubber. That was in System Update 21.
Mm-hmm.
It is an Anarch card.
Is it only? It's only one.
No influence.
It's only one hosted credit, or
No, 2 recurring credits.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least I have 7 credits now.
Is it my go?
Yes, it's your go, Dave.
Okay, 7 credits, eh? Okay. Right.
What are you eating?
A slice of bread.
Lovely.
It's quite nice bread. Okay.
Swear to God, Dave, if you've got more spin doctors, I'll be really annoyed. Ooh, Steam login. Nope.
Sorry, I've just got to make...
Do you need to undo?
No, a really goofy decision. Yeah, why not? Why not? Why ever not? It's your go.
Is it not starting? There we go. If you've got 3 things there. Dave wants to act before the run is successful. Go on.
And erase that bad boy.
I know, well, I couldn't get rid of it, could I? So I knew it was coming. Anything else?
No. That is, I think, everything.
Right, so...
Enjoy
click
your
a card.
tags.
Click a card to access it.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Gain 1 click, yes. Install a card with pantograph. Yes. Oh, I should have clicked no, shouldn't I? Click a card to access it.
Oh, San City Grid. 5 credits. That's quite a lot, isn't it? That's expensive. Oh. Yes.
What did that do?
Excellent.
Yeah, no, got it.
Yep, I drew 2 cards because you took a tag.
So, gain credit, remove tag. There we go.
Where's
Yay! Not at all
Starting
an
to,
expensive agenda steal. Whew. What's that you've got there? Daily business show.
This one. Oh wait, it has to be one of these, doesn't it? Let's go for that one. There we go. Then what we'll do is we will install that on server 3. And install that on server 3 as well. Gain a credit. And it's your go. Come
Well,
and
I
get
know
it.
there's an agenda there, but
Come
I
and
don't have
get
any money.
it. It's delicious. What if that agenda was the winning agenda, Sharon?
It couldn't be, Dave. You don't have an agenda that's worth 5.
Oh, I mean, those exist in the game. What if it was, I mean, what if
Quick question.
Project Beetle.
What if it was a Beal and I was planning on really over advancing it next turn?
If I have a tag, Dave can only trash a resource of mine. Is that right? Unless he's got retribution, in which case he can trash anything.
Within the cards you have described, those are his limitations, yes.
And then if he's got off-world office, he can give me a tag. If I have a tag, he can... Is it off-world office? The one that I get, if I've got a tag, he can score it and then...
You're thinking of orbital superiority, which does damage.
Orbital superiority.
Off-world office is already in your scored area, and that's just gain 7 creds, right?
Sorry.
You're thinking of
That's
orbital.
That's why I was thinking of it.
Yep. You're thinking of orbital.
Go on, Dave, go on. I mean, I have to deal with it though, because I know it's an agenda, and I'd be stupid not to.
Mm-hmm.
Click a card to access it. Oh, that's handy.
Cool. And now Pantograph. Have you got anything for 2 credits you want to use?
No.
Cool.
Click a card. No action. No action. Oh, I can't do anything. 1 click.
That's a lot of cards, isn't it? Select 1
Yeah.
card. Add to the bottom.
I mean, there's always a chance I could deck you, though, Dave.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is true. I could get decked.
That would have been useful. That helps me play events. That helps draw cards.
Sharon, it's your go.
8. Did I make a successful run?
What, previously?
Yes, you stole an agenda.
Yeah, you stole an agenda.
Oh gosh, sorry. Oh, you've got another agenda on server 3?
Potentially.
Ridiculous, Dave.
But I also have some ice in front of it now. Oh no. Just a casual 8 cards in hand there, Sharon.
I thought it would be wise, Dave.
Res Funhouse, take a tag or end the run.
I'll take a tag.
Uh-huh.
I mean... Oh, actually... What is that? Code gate. Let's end the run. It's always going to do that. And then... Where has it gone? Where has it gone? I not have it in my hand yet. Don't have it in my hand yet.
Oh, fucking pardon my French. A chameleon.
What? Why have you installed a chameleon on last click, Sharon?
I miscounted.
So, have you seen Chameleon's second paragraph?
I just pure miscounted, Dave. I thought I had another click.
Okay.
My own fault.
Do you want to take it back?
I mean, I kind of do, but I feel like it's my own fault for miscounting.
Great.
But I will. Since you offered.
Sure. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I usually rely on misplays to win. By playing confusing decks confusingly. However, I think it sounds fair. Oh, wow. Okay, sure. Shit. Cool.
I mean, ideally, I wouldn't have used the bloody click to draw Camellia from a thingy, but there we go.
Prepaid, so that's a free commission that just cost you one flipping click. Fair enough. So
I need the monies.
Wait, who has a card floating in the play area?
Me. Hang on, let me get rid of a different card then.
Are you just gonna stick it in the heap?
Yeah.
It's okay. It goes in face down, right?
No, it goes in face up.
Runners don't have face down cards.
Oh, of course, because there's no point in having it.
Apart from after an apocalypse.
And actually, in hindsight, I should have just bloody carried on with that flipping funhouse run, because who cares if I get a tag at this point?
Correct.
No, but you're right to do it.
There's that orbital superiority, though. I'm going to... Oh, neat. Gain credit. End my turn. She'll go.
Yeah, it's rather savage orbital superiority there from Dave. He's now going to justify putting it in his deck forever.
I don't like orbital superiority as an agenda because it relies on me putting a shit ton of tag giving mechanics in the deck, and if I wasn't playing what I have referred to as CAC sports metal, I would like it's sports metal on catch up, really. It's got the same ability as sports metal, just firing off a different trigger. So I was like, can I make a bunch of quickfire stuff that gives out tags the way that sports metal gives out scores agendas? And I realised that I might be able to do it with a bunch of orbital superiorities because they give out tags, as well as using quick advanced stuff. So it's all It's all poo.
I, I want to fault your logic. I want to start with the idea that Sports Metal and Reality Plus have the same ability with a different trigger. But I can't fault that. You're absolutely right, even though that seems like a crazy statement to me.
Mm-hmm. They do the same effect on different triggers. The trigger is not as good. It's just not as good. Takes a tag, requires a lot more setup. However, if the runner is untagged and they're desperately trying to detag themselves, although I rather feel Sharon's going tag me, which is kind of inadvisable against this, they end
money,
up...
Dave. I didn't have the money.
You've got 7
and if
credits.
I'm going,
You've got
I have
tons
7
of money
credits
for it.
now. I have 7 credits now.
Wait, what? Ah, okay, you dirty
And honestly,
laundry.
I'm a fool. I am such a fool. I should have taken that Funhouse tag to get through it. So silly.
Quite possibly, yeah. So yeah, I figured there was a bunch of
It's
ways.
very interesting, Tenacious. I mean, I've never thought of this before. What Dave's these truths that Dave's throwing down now, and it's blowing my mind. It's
right.
Even orbital superiority seems like a good agenda in this deck. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah. See, this is the new Sports Metal. It's Sports Metal on repeat. Right? They're never getting rid of any of the stuff in this deck because it's too poo. However, that means this is the Sports Metal that lasts forever because it's on repeats. It's on repeats. Okay. And also it's trash. I should point out it's really, really kind of trash. I'm going to install this here. I'm going to gain a credit. And then it's you, Sharon.
It's a tough one because I know you've got a blasted agenda in there.
Oh, shenanigans, Sharon.
Oh, these useless cards. What do I have? It's a 4.
Well, let me point out the obvious for you here, Sharon. You've got a lot of resources in hand, and you can't install them if you're tagged. So you either completely jettison them, or you clear your tags.
Sure. I don't like that much. Daily casts. Wait,
yeah,
were you not installing? Potentially, you're not installing stuff because it's okay.
I could still install it even though I was tagged.
Sure.
I was just going to try and make a run on server 3, but now I don't know what I've done with my chameleon card.
What?
Oh, is it installed?
Sharon, it's in your heap.
Why is it in my heap? Oh, did you
Sharon,
did you
choose
damage
it?
me?
I did. I damaged the ever-loving hell out of you with an orbital
Oh, then that's why.
superiority.
That's why, Dave. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention.
Okay. Oh, telework contract. Look at all this money that you've got coming in now.
Thanks, Dave.
No worries. Oh my god, daily casts again!
I mean, I can't do anything. I feel like you're just gonna blast it. Seamless launch. Dave, advance for the win.
Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There we go.
An
fatal
overhosted
error.
Project Peel. There it is. Yep. There you go. See, it's like it's like sports metal with the commentary turned on, and they keep stopping it for explanations. Go on, tell me how bad that was.
Good game. No, I thought that was a really good game.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past the. I was low on money. I was really low on money for a very long time. And I think I should have just ignored that you had agendas there, but I couldn't. And I should have carried on in that run where I made you res Funhouse.
Yeah. So that was what was going on for me. I had a ping in front of the funhouse. You probably should have carried on past the funhouse, but if you'd
absolutely should, because that would have been a 2 agenda point swing. You wouldn't have given me meat damage. I would have kept my chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but that was really good, though.
Yeah, I had a bunch of psychographics as well, because the idea was that I wanted you to give up and go tag me, which you almost kind of did at one point. You kind of was like sat on 2 tags.
Psychographic.
Psychographics is an operation card. It costs X, where X is equal to or less than the number of tags the runner has, and when you use it, you place X advancement counters on one installed card that you can advance. And it's good because it saves you clicks. Like, you don't have to click to advance. You click to advance for whatever you're paying up to the number of tags, which is cool. It's economy on
Can you show the card? Can you share your R&D?
Can I?
Or HQ?
Is there an option?
Mainly because I don't know how to spell it, so I'm digging around in the chat.
The last spelling was correct, but you have to type it with a capital P to get the link effect.
Got it.
Yeah.
X must be equal to or less than the number of tags. That's super. That's excellent.
So I figured if I could get you to give up on clearing tags, I could probably fast advance a few agendas using it, or over advance Project Beals fast, as long as I had enough cash. And actually, I think the cash was the only thing that was slowing me down there, and that's mostly because I don't have much in the way of cash give.
Do we have time to play with these decks again?
Let's ask the teacher.
Not as well.
If it's a quick game.
We can play after the stream. Yeah. That was a 40-minute game.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
Okay. Sure.
Why are our games so long, Dave?
Because we think about every decision for 9 minutes per turn, at least. Yeah, we're only getting like 3 turns in between us.
What you've seen in this last game is I won't say a problem, although it's a problem, a symptom of the current meta, and that is so many different corp are viable at going incredibly fast. Now, let's ignore the fact it took you 38 minutes for that game. It was actually over by turn 11, which is not many turns at all. Typically a game of Netrunner goes 15 to 20 turns. So if you don't have a way of stopping the corp from winning quickly, then your runner isn't viable. And that is, in my view, really restricting the number of playable decks when it comes to competitive play, both in standard and in the startup card pool, because in in off-world office, as I've bemoaned many times, being a stupid card, giving you 7 credits when you score it, or even in cleverer ways, like in this way, scoring off-world office, in Reality Plus to get credits off it and that type of thing. You can just go so fast. So all these decks that need some time to set up just don't have that time. So when you're thinking about putting a deck together within the current meta, basically the first thing you've got to ask yourself is, how is this going to stop the corp winning quickly? And if you don't have an answer to that, then it isn't going to be playable.
That's not a conducive strategy to shapers as well, is it? Because shapers like to spend fast early on, like spend larger amounts in order to durdle their way to more economy later on in the game, right? So does that mean shapers as a faction are woefully underpowered in this meta? Is this why we don't see, or why you?
The theory
BIOS is
I
bad?
feel
the theory
like
you've
this.
got there is. Sorry, Sharon.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say playing this Shaper deck against your NBN deck. I feel like I made 2 very, very significant misplays, and if I hadn't done that, it would have been okay. Like we would have had a more, like it would have lasted longer, if that makes sense. And one was misusing the actual Ayla ability. I pulled out the chameleon way too soon because I miscounted. And what I would really have liked to have done was undo the clicks to the point where the chameleon went back in in her mini separate stack.
Right, you hunted for the chameleon using the set aside cards.
Yeah.
Oh, so it took you 2 clicks to get the chameleon
So it's 2
out.
clicks. So I lost 2 clicks pointlessly. I managed to undo click 1 for 1, but then I was like, it's just pointless. I need to live with my misplays. And then the other was not continuing to take that agenda.
Sure. I think not taking the agenda would have not been too problematic for me because it wouldn't have won you the game. And
it would have just made it last longer, made me feel a little bit less stupid.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Probably would have just.
So your theory, Dave, about shapers being poorly suited for the meta, historically would have been 100% correct.
Yeah.
But with cards like Creative Commission and Viarcation recently added to their card pool, shapers now are in position to go faster than they've ever done before. And one of the key component shapers need to go fast isn't in your card pool yet. That will only come from the Ashes cycle.
Okay.
So the other thing that shapers are doing at the moment is they are against all sort of historical precedents. They have become the Apocalypse faction. So again, shapers taken ages to get set up and install stuff, and then landing in apocalypses would in the past be absolutely unheard of. But because of those cards I mentioned already, because of the tutoring effects to get out just the cards you need in order to land the apocalypse, they have become the apocalypse
specialists,
a faction of the day. So basically, every shaper you'll see in a top cut at the minute is is Shapok, as it's now being called.
Okay, sure. Go fast, mess the board state up. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay then.
Yeah. Here goes. So.
Sorry, Dave. I'm specialising in putting people off tonight.
Oh, I was getting it's my bad as well for going with the late play observations. But one thing I was particularly proud of with this was I think I managed to make it so that with one exception? With perhaps one exception, and I can't find it on glance. All of my agendas are even numbered. which I'm pleased with, because it means that and Project Beale is asynchronous, so I can make it odd numbered, which means that hopefully with 3 Project Beales, it's only asynchronous when it's scored, not stolen, which means that it's worth less to the runner, so that I've got hopefully 1 more steal's worth of time in order to score an off-kiltered Project Beale. And yeah, it's tomorrow's headline, which is a 3-2. That was the one I was looking for. Yeah, so everything in there is an even number for the runner, but 3 of them out of the agendas can be an odd number for me, which I think is in my benefit. Yeah.
So Jess just picking up in chat though, you're going to love playing the Global Food Initiative in the future, because that's a card that very much is in that is designed with that mindset in mind.
Yeah.
It's also funny that you mentioned the agenda being worth more to me than it is to my opponent. Well, that's another problem with the current meta, that there is certain cards that are worth little to nothing to the runner and very much worth something to the corp,
Sure.
and therefore that is also skewing what decks are acceptable to play.
Cool.
But I won't say. I'll try to stay more positive than my feelings towards the current meta currently are.
Also, subliminal messaging just costs you a card draw, right? A card draw. It's got no other cost to it, and you go 1 up on it. It's partial filtering and partial slowdown. It's weird, and I really like it. With its 0 cost and getting you, and 0 click cost the first time you play it each turn, and then the potential that it comes back to your hand as well. That's free real estate. That's free money right there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
which is weird, and all it costs you is the draw, which you're forced to do anyway.
Subliminal messaging is a card that experienced netrunners would say a slot mate. Because, yes, you're absolutely right. If you include it in your deck, early in the game, it is genuinely free money.
Yep.
But in your deck building decisions, you've got to decide whether the odds of drawing it early and being able to use it early are worth the card slots that it fills up.
Sure.
In most standard decks, it doesn't make the cut.
Sure.
It often ends up as card 45 or card 50. But in a startup, I think it's very effective.
I think paired with Spin Doctor, which is another 0 cost card, you can get a lot of value out of the two working together to beef your way through your deck reasonably fast. And when you link that with something goofy like Daily Business Show, which I'm a bit miffed that I chose to put a Daily Business Show on the bottom of my deck, but well, the Daily Business Show was daily businessing, so it is what it is.
Well, the Daily Business Show is daily businessing.
It was.
So, Mark,
yes.
What now? New cards?
We're going to go into the classroom and we're going to look at some new cards. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
And Dave will play again later.
Okay, sure thing. Right, we are headed to Netrunner Dib. So yeah,
we're going to go into the go into the Ashes cycle, and I'm going to let you choose pick which corporation from the Ashes cycle you would like to start with.
Wait, Uprising booster pack, Downfall, does it make a difference?
No, we're just going to take Ashes as a complete cycle, so the individual box it was in matters not.
Excellent, so we're looking at corporation. I think Oh, Dave, what would
yeah,
you
that's
like?
right. Sorry, I've got to press the search. Sorry, the search button first. Do we get a corp each?
Oh no, we're just going to go through one corporation tonight, and then your homework is going to be to make a corp deck using whichever corp we go through now, plus a runner deck of anything you each feel like.
Cheers.
I would like HB, please. Because
What's
what?
HB?
HB has Bioroid. Because I think I just spotted something busted.
Is that
we were literally
Mirrormorph?
yeah, the ID is Mirrormorph, but we were literally just talking about asynchronous card score. And yeah, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, has Bioroid, please. Because I want you to explain what the hell that is. Right there.
It's smashing. Wait.
Sharon, are you happy with HP, or would you like to go elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely, because I think we've discussed Project Vacheron before.
Right, okay then.
And I was very excited about the possibility of using it.
Yep.
I can see you've both made a deal with the devil, and you've gone for the worst cards now of Netrunner. Welcome to Ask Bioroid's Ashes section.
Oh my.
Right. So, let's start off with a not particularly whatever bad card in Architect Deployment Test. Architect Deployment Test is a 4/2, and it says when you score this agenda, you may look at the top 5 cards of R&D, and then you may install and res one of those cards, ignoring all the costs.
Cool. What?
Love it.
So, if you
5 cards, holy cow.
So this is a throwback to a card that used to be in Netrunner called Accelerated Beta Test.
Sure.
And Accelerated Beta Test said you could look at you would likely to have a femme fatale in your card deck, but
costing wise.
I realised that after I said it.
Imagine if you had a San City grid, right?
So a San City grid saves you 6 credits. A Bran or an Ansel saves you both the install cost, which could be 2 or 3 pieces of ice out from the route, and the res cost. So potentially 8 or 9 credits there. And as we'll see later, there is other cards that that cost a lot of money as well. So it's a gamble though, because you can sometimes look at those next 5 cards and say, yeah, I don't want to install and res any of them. So it's in tough competition to get in a deck, but it's quite a fun effect to look at those cards and maybe get a free install and a free res.
Very cool.
Okay, then we come on to the dark side.
Look at this.
Project Vacheron, a card that many people think should be banned, but at the moment is not.
We're all going to have it in our deck.
It is a 5/3 agenda.
Yeah.
And it says, when this agenda would be added to the runner's score area, from anywhere except archives, so remember archives is an exception, instead it gets added to the score area with 4 hosted agenda counters on it. Whilst there is an agenda counter on Project Vacheron, it is actually worth 0 points. However, when the runner's turn begins, they may remove one of those counters.
It's not May. Importantly, right?
No, you must remove one of those counters.
You must remove. Yeah.
So, if you steal it early on in the game, great, because more than likely the game will last more than 5 or 6 turns, and you have got then the 3 points that you have had. If it's late in the game and the corp is in a really strong position, and you're desperately trying to claw your way back into it, it is a blank card to you.
Yep.
Because the corp will have won the game by the time you get any benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Because the speed is in a lot of cases the pace of the game is dictated by the clip at which the corp is running its business, right? There isn't much opportunity for the runner to slow things down, is there? Other than APOC, maybe.
It's generally the pace of the game is dictated by the player that's in control.
Sure.
If you're a dominant runner, you can try and do things to keep that dominance and to keep the corp on the back foot. But there is very little way to stop time. There is a card that allows you to do that, but that's in the standard card pool, not in startup.
Sure.
So yeah, there is very little thing you can do to make those 4 turns pass quicker to make this to actually be worth something. Now, the slight caveat, stroke saving grace to this is that if you steal Project Vacheron from archives, it does not get the counters.
Okay.
So when this card first came out, it wasn't seen as bonkers as it is seen now, because there were multiple ways for you to get that card into archives and steal it then like a blank 5/3.
Sure.
But some of those ways of doing that have decreased in popularity and playability recently, and there have been certain other cards come out. For example, Spin Doctor, which gets the card back out of archives after you've put so much effort into putting it there in the first place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Spin Doctor really messes with any way that Nisei might have of introducing other cards to switch off Project Vacheron, unless they introduce something that removes all of the text on cards, agendas and stuff as they're scored, or suppresses it, or because otherwise, you'd have to have some way of suppressing triggers for that to miss, and I haven't seen anything like that yet. Yeah. It's pretty brutal.
Okay. So while we're on the subject of agenda points not being worth as much as they should be, let's have a look at Mega Pre-Qualifier. So Mega Pre-Qualifier is a 3/1 if you're a runner, but if you're a corp, if you read the text, it says, if there is another copy of Mega Pre-Qualifier in either player's score area when you score this, it becomes a 3/2 instead.
I mean, that's pretty damn cool. But then isn't that the same effect if it goes into the runners, if the runner steals it?
If the runner steals it, the next time... No, sorry. If the runner steals it, the corp gets the benefit. So when they get the 3/2, when they score the next one, it will be a 3/2 for them. The runner never gets the benefit.
No, it's when you score this agenda, not when you steal this agenda.
So if the corp's on 6 agenda points with this in their hand, and the runner steals another one, boom, corp's won, right? Because their copy of the Mega Pre-Qualifier suddenly gets another agenda point.
No, it doesn't. It's when you score, it's worth 1 more for every single one that is in a score area. Okay.
So it's an on-score effect.
Yeah.
So
it's only triggered at the point of scoring. Yeah.
Between you, it isn't rubbish because of that thing. Let's say
That's brilliant.
you're both on 5 points. You keep this in your hand because you might have a biotic labour, or you might have some other sort of shenanigans, Sansan City grid that is going to allow you to score this on your next turn, and that's going to win the game for you. You keep it in your hand because you want to play it. The runner goes raiding into your hand to try and take it off you. If they steal it, it only moves you on to 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
But if they miss it, then it moves you on to 7 points. And that makes all the difference.
The third copy that goes down is 3 for 3.
It is... no, it can never go more than 2 points.
What? It's a hosted agenda. It's worth 1 more agenda point. Sorry, it's not worth. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not for each hosted agenda. It's whilst it has a hosted agenda. Okay,
But
cool.
Decks that play Mega Pre-Qualifier, it is not unusual for either them to discard the first one or to install it naked, just so, because they want to lose it. They want the runner to get to the disadvantage, to get that in their score area, so that they can score the next one and be worth more points.
Of course, and they force the runner to pay for that point by making a run, having all of the costs associated with making that run, all of the click costs and things like that. Whereas for them, that is scoring a point for free. Pretty cool.
Right. Now we're going to go out of order because the next card won't make any sense unless you've seen the ID that comes with HB in Ashes. So I'd like you to skip forward to card.
Do we
the ID card
straight for the ID?
It's called Miramar.
Here we go.
Miramorph Endless Iteration. And brace your brain for a thorough bending.
I am looking forward to this.
The easy bits. Miramorph is a 45 card minimum size, so you want 49 cards to do that. That's 49 cards.
Yep.
And you have 15 influence to spend. What the ability text says, if the first, second, and third actions you take on your turn are different, when the third completes, you may either gain a credit for free or take another click for free, as long as that click is a different type of action as well. So, let's revisit what are the different types of click you can take. And these are basic. This is like the basic action card or the basic options that are available to you in the Jinteki interface. You may draw a card. You may play an operation. You may click for a credit. You may install a card. You may use an ability on an installed card, and there are probably some other niche ones that I'm not thinking of right now. You may advance a card, of course. You may trash a card if your runner is tagged. All these are distinct and different actions. So,
is rezzing a card an action or not?
No. Rezzing is not an action. Cool. Rezzing is a cost.
Gotcha.
So what you want to do with this card, with this ID, is to very carefully plan out your turns so that you are doing 3 separate things as often as possible. Therefore, you are getting either a free click or a free credit in each of your turns, which is, of course, very valuable. So, in a turn, you may want to draw a card, install a card, click for a credit, mirror more fires. You may want to install a card, advance a card, draw a card, mirror more fires. But if you do perhaps some of the most standard moves in Netrunner, like on your first turn, I'm going to put ice on HQ, put ice on R&D, play a hedge fund, you don't get a mirror morph ability because installing on HQ and installing an R&D is the same action type. It's still installing a card.
So you'd be better off installing an ice on one of HQ and R&D, playing in a hedge fund, clicking to gain a credit, and that gives you the extra action to then install the ice on a...
No, because if you take the free action, it must be another
different action. Oh, I see.
Advance something for clicklessly, for instance.
So if you have no way to take another different action, that's when you get the default of gain 1 credit, which is still nice enough.
Yeah.
But there are lots of shenanigans you can do, as we'll see shortly, that will allow you to use your clicks in a variety of different ways.
Yeah, okay.
Any questions on that right now, or do you want to save them up for later?
I will save them.
Okay then. Let's scroll back up then.
So what you could... Wait, hang on. So you could take 3 different actions like draw a card, use a credit, advance an agenda, and now, if you've got 2 Bardic Labours in hand, you can also clear all of the purge. You can purge because 2 Bardic Labours in hand gets you 2 clicks for your 1 click, which you do for free first, and then you end up with 3 clicks left over, which is what it takes for purge.
Yeah.
Which normally take an entire turn, but now you've done that at the end of absolute shenanigans.
Yeah, but no one in the history of Netrunner has played 2 Biotic Labours to enable them to purge more efficiently.
Mugs. That's all I'm saying. They missed a trick there. Yeah. They're not mathsing hard enough. Yeah. That's efficiency.
Well, let's have a look at some of those cards that now exist that will help you use Mirror Morph's ability. So, first up, we have Nano Etching Matrix. Nano Etching Matrix is a 0 cost to res asset.
Love it.
And it has a 3 trash cost. And it says, click to gain 2. Use this ability once per turn.
Cool.
So rather than a click gaining you 1 credit, using Nano Etching Matrix, a click gains you 2 credit.
Oh, it gives you click out.
Also, as an extra benefit, when the runner trashes Nano Etching Matrix, you also gain 2 credits for reasons nobody fully understands.
Sure. So that it's a swing of 5. Got it.
If you click to gain a credit using Nano Etching Matrix, and then click to gain a credit through your standard abilities, actions, are those considered 2 different actions for the purpose of Project Vacheron? No, not Project Vacheron.
Mirror.
For the purpose of Mirror Morph.
Yes, they are.
Okay, here's a good question.
Because using a card ability is not the same thing as gaining a credit.
If I clicked to activate a click ability on an asset, is that considered the same action as clicking to use a different asset's ability? Or by putting these assets out, am I creating click holes where I can just sync clicks in for different purposes?
The latter. Using the ability on one card is not the same thing as using the ability on a different card.
That's stupid. Clicking
Let's
an
take this a
asset.
step further.
Cool.
If you have two separate copies of Nano Etching Matrix installed, using each individual copy is a separate action. Because using the ability on card X is a separate action to using the ability on card Y.
Yep. And the usability only once per turn is to stop you using it if you have any actions left over after your nonsense turn. So just sink actions into it.
Well, that, and it also they want to discourage. There used to be a card called Magnum Opus that was a runner card that just said, "Click Magnum Opus for 2 credits." And what that meant was that the runner sometimes just went, "I'm clicking for 8 credits."
Sure.
So
my turn is 8 credit swing. Thanks.
You can still do shenanigans like that in Mirror Morph if you have multiple different assets and abilities and shenanigans, but at least you have to work a bit harder for it than installing one card and clicking it 4 times.
Yep. Gotcha. Cool.
Okay. Next up on this clickability marathon is Calvin Bailey.
Okay. I read that as ballsy.
Calvin Bailey is also 0 to res, 3 to trash, and for 1 click you may draw 2 cards rather than just 1 card, and use this ability only once per turn. And you may have guessed where this is going. When the runner trashes this asset, you may draw 2 cards. Again, for reasons nobody fully understands.
I think that's self-defense, isn't it? Like the card self-defends itself, so you can install it on a remote server for nothing, and you don't have to worry too much about the runner charging at it like a goon just to pay 3 and give you the ability once.
For a 0 to res asset that costs 3 to trash, I'm not sure it should have a fringe benefit to the corp as well. The runner's already spent a click and 3 credits to have to go and trash it.
Yeah, very true.
Anyway, that's my take. These cards do that, and that's not my decision.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the click version. It's Bass Chiriboga. And when you spend a click on Bass, and trash him, unfortunately, you can't use that repeatedly, you gain 2 clicks.
Hooray!
So it's like biotic labour as an asset.
How much does biotic labour cost to play? 4. So it's cheaper, but you pay 2 clicks to use it, essentially, because you pay 1 click to put it out.
It's cheaper in credits, but as you've actually paid the click to install it beforehand,
click for a credit.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Because you could, if you had this and the biotic labour in hand, you could install this and use it for 3 credits next turn, or you could just click for a credit and then play biotic labour.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Cool.
That one trashes itself, though, so that isn't one you can just churn over time and time again.
Yeah. Which is fair enough, I suppose. It's gaining clicks, which is strong.
And then I think this is the last one of these clickability shenanigans. And this one is Vapor Frame Fabricator. Now, you don't see this one as much as the others, but maybe it just fits nicely in your deck, I don't know. And this is the install version of it. So this one costs 2 to res, rather than 3 to res like the other ones say, but 3 to trash. And for a click, you may install a card, ignoring all costs. you're not resing it, ignoring all costs, but the installation of it ignores all costs. So if you wanted to use Vapor Frame to install a piece of ice 2 or 3 layers deep, that would actually save you those 2 or 3 installation credits.
Is that the only thing that it really saves you? Is installing far out ice?
From a cost perspective, yes. But
Sure.
from a mirror morph perspective, it allows you to install more than one thing per turn. Because it is not using your basic install ability, it is using the ability on a card.
Isn't there a card in Wayland that installs face up as well, so it's already pre-resed? Is that Corp Town or something?
Building big servers.
Oaktown Renovation that installs face up.
Is that face up?
But that is not resed as such. Public agendas, as we call them, the ones that install face up, neither res nor unres.
Yeah, so it doesn't cost you
face
to put
up.
it out. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Cool.
Okay, next we're up to something completely different. And the other thing, before ludicrous levels of clip compression and agenda cheating that HB were famous for, is dealing out copious amounts of brain damage.
Sure.
Will you explain what brain damage is for us as well?
Yes, I shall.
Way!
In the first instance, it just works the same as net or meat damage. It knocks X amount of cards out of your hand. The worst part is that brain damage is permanent. So if you take 2 brain damage, your maximum hand size from that point forward is only 3 cards. Because you can't remember how to hold 5 cards anymore.
Is tough.
That's pretty brutal. How do you get over brain damage? I assume like a tag you can deal with it?
Nope. There are some cards you can install that will expand your hand size back up, but you cannot, under any circumstances, remove brain damage.
What happens if you hit 5 brain damage then, and you've only got 5 hand size? Is that it? Clear out your hand damage.
You're playing with no hand size at the end of every turn.
Gotcha.
If you go into negative hand size, at the end of your current turn, you die.
I mean, that seems ridiculous.
The best part about it is that's the runner's meat damage as well. If they've taken brain damage, the cumulative total of both their brain damage and whatever meat damage they're taken is that you basically add one to the other, right? Like for determining whether they're going to die, because they've only got hand minus brain damage actual hand size, and so meat damage can overwhelm that a lot easier because they've got a lot less defense.
As Tenacious has just said in chat, if you take someone's max hand size down to 2 or 3, clearing houses don't have to be as big anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you've taken it down to 2, snares are lethal.
Grim.
And as has been pointed out, we do both love snares.
Yeah.
You love snares, you love traps, so I assume you'll also be loving Cerebral
damage.
But
guess I'll be picking up a lot more memory diamonds. Sure.
Well, memory diamonds, yeah, that will increase your hand size. That's a defense against it in the short term for sure. But
gosh, that's pretty brutal. Cool.
It is. It's one of those things. Probably the first time it happens to you, it feels real bad because you feel like, what am I supposed to do now? Net damage. If you don't die, you can always draw your cards back up. Same with meat damage, but you are in big trouble when you get hit with brain damage.
The fact that it opens you up to more attacks is the worst part about it. The fact that it removes your hand size isn't terrible, because as a runner you don't absolutely have to play like I'm planning. Like if you're playing Steve, for instance, Cambridge, then you're getting rid of cards from your deck anyway. You've got to get used to stuff just disappearing and you never getting a chance to play it twice. And isn't there an Anarch who basically double draws and then discards one every turn as well, so for card sifting? So you don't. It's punishing, yes. It makes you weaker, yes, but you're drawing during your turn, which means that you're not up against hand limit until the end of the turn. So it's not terrifying.
The key thing to notice on this for when you're using it as a trap is that, similar to Snare, you must pay credits to fire it. It's 3 credits to do the damage on Cerebral Overwriter, whereas Urtica Cypher is free. So that's something to keep in mind.
Sure. Cool. Cooler.
Okay, now moving into the ice section. First up, we have Hagen, or Harden. Not sure how you actually pronounce that.
Oh.
And when you first install Hagen, it is a big, beefy piece of ice. Only 4 to res, and yet costs 6. However, this ice has -1 strength for each installed icebreaker. So when you install a Fractor in order to break this barrier, it brings it down to strength 5.
Yeah.
When you've got your full breaker suite installed, it brings it down to strength 3, probably. If you have got a Mayfly or something else installed, you could even bring that strength down even further. So it is a very effective piece of ice early in the game, but it gets weaker as the game goes on.
Sure.
The other interesting thing about it is that it has a limited program trashing effect.
Yeah.
So we spoke a few weeks ago about face checking and whether you should run run an ice that's face down and see what might happen. Now, usually, when you run into a barrier, all it does is end the run and you're like, so what? But this actually allows you to trash a program that isn't a decoder, fractor, or killer. So if they've installed, say, a Sleep Door Beta, if they've installed a Leech, if they've installed a Conduit, many different programs that aren't decoder, fractor, or killer, if you can't break that, you can't break Hagen, then that program is going bye-bye.
That's interesting, because that kind of means that as time goes by, its strength goes down. However, the effectiveness of that first ability kind of goes up, because the runner's more likely to have other programs in play by that point. So it's kind of like a little bit self-balancing. But
yeah.
And
the key thing to remember is it can't trash decoders, fractors, or killers.
It can do AI.
It doesn't say icebreakers because it can trash AI.
Yeah. Cool.
And in fact, it often does when people try to run through a Hagen with an AI breaker that then can't break the 5 strength of it.
Sure. Cool.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Now we're on to the biggest, beefiest piece of ice there is.
What the? Oh wow.
It's Tyr.
Sure.
Tyr is a Bioroid Sentry, and it costs 10 to res. Yes, 10.
Whoa!
And it comes in at strength 7. It is a unique piece of ice, which is quite rare. You can only have Tyr resed in one place at once. And Tyr's Bioroid ability works unlike any other Bioroid abilities. So some people like to think of it as like a tier 4.0 because when you look at the wider range of Bioroid ice, all 1.0s, like Eli 1.0, work in some way. All Ravana 2.0s work in a certain way. All Fairchild 3.0s work in a certain way. And then Tia comes along with no number next to it and works in a completely different way. So if you like, it's like Tier 4.0.
But Tia is unique in multiple ways. Like they've indicated it by saying he costs a lot, he's the strongest, but also because Norse God of War, he's going to be tough and unique. He's also the only copy that you can play at a time of him, as well as having his own version of everything. Basically, it's cool. He's beefy and I love it. Quite a lot of influence.
You can spend a click to click through a subroutine on Tia, but if you do, that click is then added to your opponent's next turn.
The corp eats it.
So in terms of click manipulation, that is like, if you click through one of them, it's a free biotic labour. If you click through two of them, it's a biotic labour you can use on a 4-2. If you click through three of them, it's just you don't want. Well, it puts you in the classic rock and a hard place situation because you really don't want these subroutines to land, but you really don't want the corp to have 6 clicks on their next turn.
God, do 2 brain damage. What the hell?
So the first one is do 2 brain damage. The second one is trash any installed runner card and gain 3 credits. And the third one, just to make sure that you can't just run through it willy-nilly, is end the run.
Yeah, he's worth 10.
So, big old tier.
Yeah.
Once that's res, you're gonna have some difficulties getting around it. And you don't want any of those subroutines to fire if you can help it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then the last one of the ice, on the much more sensible end of the spectrum, but is probably the most played piece of HB ice, is Drafter.
Cool.
And Drafter is just right up HB street, similar to Precision Design and bringing cards back from archives and all that shenanigans. So Drafter is a 3-strength sentry that costs 3 to res, and it has 2 subroutines. The first subroutine, you can bring a card back from archives to HQ. The second subroutine, you may install a card from archives or HQ, ignoring all cost.
Wow. Free tier. Thanks very much.
Yes, please.
Ignoring, not resing. But,
of course, it's install, not res. Yep.
But basically, Drafter firing is real bad news.
Yeah.
So in HB, where there are so many Bioroids, where you're thinking, well, if I run click 1, it'll be fine. I can probably click through it. And they say, oh no, this one isn't a Bioroid. And I'm just going to have that card back that you really don't want me to have back, and I'm just going to reinstall that card that you've just trashed.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. I think my favourite part about it is it's not a Bioroid, but it's in HB. Because, yeah, it's a surprise to the enemy a little bit. Nice.
And then I think we're on the very long home stretch as we move into the operations and upgrade. So, first operation, red level clearance. And it's a card that gives you choices.
What the hell? What?
Yep.
No, it doesn't give you choices. It gives you one choice and one you absolutely have to.
Well, maybe. But yeah, for 1 credit, you can play red level clearance, and you can do 2 things. You can draw 2 cards, you can gain 2 credits, you can install a non-agenda card, that's an important stipulation, and you can get your clip back.
It's this combination that sees the most play, right? Gain a click and draw 2 cards?
That one or the credits one, to be honest.
Or the credits one. The credits one is just subliminal messaging, though. But you can do it multiple times in a turn.
But you can use that at... So one of the great ones of these is when you've got an agenda lined up to score on your next turn, and you've got a red level clearance in hand, you can say, okay, I'm going to gain the credit and have my clip back, and I'm still going to score that agenda. So that's a nice combination. In fact, they all see play as well, because one of the shenanigans that this card enables when you install a non-agenda card is that there is a non-agenda card that is in the standard card pool that allows you to clear virus tokens. So let's say someone is stopping you from fast-tracking an agenda because they've got a cloth on the board. This allows you to install the card that's going to clear that clot off the board and get your clip back, so you can still do the shenanigans that you were intending to do before they installed that clot. Oh yeah, and also it allows you to draw 2 cards for free if that's what you want to do either.
The card
I feel like red level clearance is a favourite.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's a very... I like it. I really think it's a very fun card. It's a very interesting card. And it has seen quite a lot of play recently in HB Shenanigans decks. However, when it first came out, it didn't see that much play because it fell into that similar slot of subliminal messaging, in that it's quite useful, but is it useful enough to demand a space in my deck? But it's a good utility card. You can do lots of things with it. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I get the feeling that some of these smaller cards or small-looking cards like this could be quite good for pace, and it sounds like pace is currently winning the meta conceptually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next up, fully operational. Battle station time.
Fully operational, yes. So speaking of cards that have completely warped the way Netrunner is played, welcome to Fully Operational. So when Fully Operational was first announced, it flew under the radar quite a bit because there was no real play style to decide for it to fit into at that point in time.
Can you imagine if I'd had that today?
Since then, it has been decks have been found that it has a home in, and it sees lots of play now. So what does it say? When you play this card for 1 credit, you may gain 2 credits or draw 2 cards. Then repeat this process for each remote server with at least 1 card in it and at least 1 piece of ice protecting it.
Sure.
So if you've just spammed a load of assets all the way across the table, then it isn't much use for you. But if you've got a deck, as Sharon just mentioned there, that we played earlier, with some ice in it and some agendas, some assets in it, and you can stick a piece of ice in front of each of those assets. Then when you play this card, it'll do some ridiculous thing like gain you 8 credits and draw you 4 cards. And you're like, oh, right, yeah, that's pretty good for them. It is, in the right deck, the most powerful econ and or draw card in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And as Jess has just said there, it created a new way of playing it. It created this idea of not just putting out naked agendas, naked assets, but putting out ice and assets, and then the type of assets you play changes somewhat. So historically, if you're playing what we call an asset spam deck, a sideways deck, you would only play assets that were expensive to res so that they kind of protected themselves. This makes it possible to play assets that are cheaper to trash, because if you have to go past a piece of ice to get to them, then it's still an inconvenience for the runner to break in and deal with the thing behind it.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking like, well, it'll cost me so much money to install all those assets and install all the ice and be able to res them, well, good luck, good news. This card will give you all the money you need.
Incredible.
Yeah. So it's a really strong card if you're in a deck where you can benefit from that. Mirror Morph will benefit from it a bit. Nearer Hub will benefit from it a bit, but it's an ID from the standard card pool called Ayla, which benefits from it the most.
Oh my. Ooh.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Spam or real? Spam or real?
Now we're moving on to a lockdown, and I don't think we've played lockdowns before, have we?
No, I think this is the first lockdown.
Okay. Well, new mechanic alert.
Nice.
I may have mentioned to you long ago, but certainly not recently. There used to be a game mechanic called Current. And what Current did was once you played them, they stayed in play until your opponent played a counter current to knock it out of play,
Yep.
or they scored or stole an agenda, which caused it to be trashed. The problem with currents was that they were either completely inconsequential or completely game busting. And there wasn't much in between.
Sure.
So Nisei eventually decided when they took over, that we weren't going to have currents anymore. Instead, they were going to replace them with a similar idea called lockdowns. And lockdowns, you play for a click, and then they stay in play until the start of your next turn.
To make them relevant, Nisei banned all currents, right? Banned all cards with current on?
Correct.
Cool.
Right.
So what this does as a corp card, as you can see, play only if there is no active lockdown, so you can't play 2 lockdowns at once, and the operation is not trashed until your next turn begins. They will do something that will give you a strong advantage, but only for 1 turn. And you can still play around them. They're not impossible to get around. They will just be a big inconvenience for the runner. So in this particular one's case, it says the runner cannot use non-icebreaker cards to break subroutines, and each piece of ice has +2 strength. So first of all, what does use non-icebreaker cards to break subroutines means?
Botulus?
It means you can't use Botulus.
Mm-hmm.
It means you can't use the click ability on a Bioroid.
Oh, sure.
It means that you can't use a very, very popular card that we'll find later in this cycle called Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
You can only play good old-fashioned traditional breakers. And even if you are playing good old-fashioned traditional breakers, you still have to pump them all up to 2 stronger than you would do before. So it just boosts up all the corp's defences for that one turn that it's in play, and then it trashes at the start of the next turn. They probably score an agenda on the back of it,
Haha.
and then you go back to normal.
Gotcha.
All right. Oof.
3 to play, but 4 to trash if you're able to access them from HQ or R&D. You can't trash it once it's been played. There's no like trash ability to this card that's floating in the middle of the table.
Sure.
Right, yeah. Oh, three cards left in this group.
We can do it.
Cool.
Next, we've got ScapeNet. ScapeNet is a very unusual card. You don't see that much of it, but when you do, it's generally quite upsetting. So, you may only play ScapeNet if the runner made a successful run during the last turn. But if they did, you may trace 7. Remember how traces work? They start off by the corp saying, this card is saying I can fire a trace. It starts off at strength 7. They may pay extra credits to it if they want to, but if they don't want to, I mean, 7 is usually strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
The runner must then either accept the consequences or they need to pay the difference between the link strength and the strength of the trace in credit.
Sure.
So it's like a credit burner.
Yep. And if you don't block the trace in this case, it will remove a 1 installed chip, which is a hardware type, or 1 installed virtual card, which is a resource type, not trash it, remove it from the game.
Oh, right, shit. There's no getting
Yeah.
it back.
Not coming back. See you later, alligator.
Cool. Wow. Okay.
So, generally, there aren't that many chips or that many virtual resources that you care massively about. But when decks do emerge that have a particular reliance, perhaps on Simul Chip, which is a card we'll see later on, perhaps on the Turning Wheel, which is a card that you see a lot in Standard, this card gets rid of them and says, no, you ain't playing them. No.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You have to pay a lot if you want to keep playing with it.
Exactly that.
Yeah. And it's also got a wealth check on it as well. Like, if the corp's really desperate to get rid of it, they can chuck a bunch more money at the trace, and make it completely unreachable for the runner to pay for.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Cool.
I don't understand.
Next up.
Woo.
Next
Cold
up, we
Site
have
Server.
Cold Site Server with some of the most spooky artwork on any of the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Cold Site Server is an upgrade, so you can't use Parisia on it.
Sure.
It is 3 to res and 3 to trash. And it says, use a click, so not something else you can do in Mirror Morph, to place 1 power counter on this upgrade. And then,
Cool.
as an additional cost, to make a run on this server, the runner must spend both a click and a credit for however many hosted power counters are on this card.
Okay.
But, thankfully, when your turn begins, you must remove all hosted power counters. Otherwise, that card would become absolutely bonkers.
Sure.
Now, Mark, as we learn more about the cards and Ashes and then eventually Startup, are there cards that help you increase your credits very quickly? Because quite a few of these things, like actions, seem to take a lot of credits. Or is that part of the game?
I think it's a large part of the game.
We've got quite a good basis for credit gain in the Corp side anyway, right? Like we had a Corp game that went well over 30 credits each when we played it either way. But yeah, so there's already like quite strong credit mechanisms on the Corp side. Interestingly, I think we're about to run into another one.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's this the last one from HB?
It is, yeah.
It is the last one for HB. And this is Tranquility Homegrid. And this is a region. So it follows region rules. You are only allowed one region per server.
One per server, yep.
And you can only install it in remote servers. That's because it wouldn't really be on central servers, as you'll see in a second. But in that remote server, the first time each turn you install a card in it, you may either gain 2 credits or draw a card. So if you go back to Dave's fondness for sports metal-esque buffoonery of gaining credits and cards as a possible opportunity, if you're able to put one of these on the board, and you're just like, oh, I want to install this agenda now to start scoring it, oh, you gain 2 credits to help you in that endeavour.
Seems pretty good.
Or if you wanted to install an analytic void, you could draw a card that you could then use that analytic void to stop someone running.
Yes.
So it has a lot of utility in terms of making the basic action of installing something cheaper and or more quick efficient.
Also, it's kind of cool in a orbital the NBN deck where you're going wide as fast as possible, because if you are protecting one and then going wide with the rest, sticking this in one means that if you're getting stuff out of that server pretty quickly, it's still doing the same sort of shenanigans that that your natural ability is as well, and so you get to kind of rinse and repeat on one whilst you go mental on others.
Absolutely.
Seems pretty cool.
The only limit with that is that those decks are often playing Samsung and City Grid, and the region rules contradict each other.
Yeah.
But what this card is perfect for is a play style that we used to call, or still do call to some extent, Jammy HB, where you put this card behind 1 or 2 pieces of moderately taxing ice, and every turn, or more or less every turn, you install a new card in there.
Yep.
And that new card is either going to give you an immediate benefit in terms of credits or card draw or both, or it's going to be an agenda that you score ready to put the next one in. So if you start combining that with things like seamless launch or maybe precision design to help you recur the cards as well, it's another thing that can be a real enabler to go in real fast.
Cool. And as we said, pace is absolutely what this meta is made of.
Uh-huh.
By the sounds of it. Pretty cool.
And that concludes the HB section.
It does.
That's very exciting. Now, Mark, you said we could be any type of runner. Is that because there are no new runner IDs and Ashes?
There are 3 new runner IDs in Ashes.
What
but
are
because
they?
there are so many cards
Found them.
in Ashes, we're only going to go through one of these at once. Otherwise, this stream would be about 19 hours long.
Okay. For ease, should Dave and I pick the same Ashes ID for the runner? And then we can run through those cards, or what do you want?
I don't want you to choose an Ashes ID. I want you to choose a runner ID that you already know and familiar with. And I want you to choose an HB deck, either using Mirror Morph or using one of the HB identities that you've used before, and maybe making use of some of these new HB cards.
Okay. But for the runner then, can we use any of the cards in Ashes, or are we restricted to the cards we've already covered?
Just the cards we've already covered.
Right. I'm saying that for your benefit, Dave.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
We're going to go for a radical change and stick with the same rules we've had all the way through.
I just
we're only going to have cards in our card pool that we've been through in a classroom session.
I don't know, this sounds stagnant. What we should do is we should each invent a card and draw it in with crayons.
Oh God, that would be amazing.
And then see if we can find a way of asking Jinteki very kindly to host a copy of that card that we can use in our decks.
1 click for 40 credits.
Yeah, yep, that's right. 40
credits. Oh, you mean Brian Simpson?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cracking.
Crack-a-lackin'.
Although that is an expensive click.
I understand.
Cool. Okay.
Stop feasting your eyes on cards that we haven't learned yet.
Did you say feasting or beasting?
Yeah.
That's pretty lush. Yep, you're right. I should probably. Yeah. Ignore everything except the ones that we've covered.
So, removal of doubt. Your card pool is System Gateway, System Update 2021, and HB cards from the Ashes cycle.
Cool. So
deal with that. Can deal with that.
But we're definitely making a Hasbiroid deck for the Corp next week.
Hasbiroid, and you have your choice of Mirror Morph, Precision Design, or Architects of Tomorrow.
Cool.
Okay. I mean, I am kind of looking forward to when we go through Wayland in the Ashes Corp ID. But I can save that. I can keep it inside.
Next week we'll look at a runner faction in the classroom session, and then we'll revert to Corp after that.
Okay. Love it. All right, so. Oof. Cool. Another game, Dave? On or off stream? I don't mind.
Maybe in a bit. It's 11 o'clock though, and I do have work tomorrow, so I'm probably going to call it for this evening. But it was very good fun playing.
Okay. Well, on that bombshell.
Disappointed.
Let's draw an end to this evening's stream. Thank you very much for those of you who joined us live. Thank you in the future, those of you who will check us out on YouTube. And we'll be back again next week for some hot Hasbiroid action and to learn some new cards in the Ashes cycle. But until then, ciao for now.
Yeah, can't wait.
Bye now.